Hello YouTube, and welcome. This is Mark from Reloaded with our next war recap, and good war this one. Lots of good attacks, and there's also an exciting war to be in, and we did kind of pull away from them towards the end, but they certainly came out pretty hard and made us worry a little bit about how the war was going to turn out. So good fun war. Props to Bandit crew, but congrats to everyone at Reloaded with what I think is probably our best war percentage of any war to date. It's a 96% total destruction. So let's check out the results. So they kind of had a bit of trouble with our top Town Hall 9s, Town Hall 10 and 11s, and left quite a few of our 9s on the board as well. So that I think ended up being the difference, but they got all the lower bases. And we... our Town Hall 10 and 11s had an absolute killer war. We came out of the blocks with multiple 3 stars on first hits on their base, on their Town Hall 10s, which kind of set us up nicely. A couple of 9s slipped away from us towards the end, but we got most of their bases done. Let's, without further ado, kick off the attacks, and who better to lead us off than Major Hunky coming in on their top Town Hall 10. Major's just going to use a couple of wall breakers to open up one side of the base here. He's got a two jump spells, so it's going to be a pincer mover coming in from 2 corners with the main Valk force coming in from the side where he's just broken open the base. He's got a couple of golems with some wizards just to help build his funnel, and the goal here is to take out all those buildings around the corners to stop the Valks running around the edge of the base, so that when he drops a jump spell they'll run into the core. Showing nice patience to ensure that the funnel gets built, and he's now just dropped his Valks in. No need for wall breakers, well, in part because I was about to say because they'll break through the wall, but actually a few of them decided to take the jump spell in the corner. But the effect is still the same. Nice placement on the jump spell. There's a rage in the core, pushing all the Valks through that core. He's got nice timing and use of an earthquake spell there. But he's got enough Valks in the core to get the job done. He's got his queen on one side. He's got his king on the other side. Just working their way through defences. And that level 35 king, they've just got so much health. It's basically like having an extra golem. So tanking all that damage from those point defences while the rest of his troops are coming along on the outside, and as soon as before you know it, there's only trash buildings left. So he's got a couple of wizards and so forth up his sleeve to help with the cleanup, but I don't think he was in any danger at all of running out of time. And lovely attack, very nice. Okay, and up next we've got B-Man, or Bananaman, coming in on this unusual base design. It takes up the entire map, and I think one of the reasons for that is spreading all of your buildings out so that nothing's touching anything else. It's a good way of slowing down Valk effectiveness. But B-Man just goes, that's fine. There's no walls to slow the Valks down other than that wall in the core around the town hall. So just earthquake that, get out of the way, and then basically your troops have free run around the entire base. There's no compartments that troops will get stuck in, so he just brings a couple of golems and wizards. Jump spell primarily because he wants to give some of his Valks an opportunity to get into the core, rather than having them all run around the outside. But he's even brought a few wall breakers there just for good measure. And it's quite interesting that they broke open the wall right beneath the jump spell, so that's interesting to know. He does get a split on his Valks, but I don't think that's too much of a problem. He probably wanted that, actually. Raid spell in the core, jump spell just to help the Valks come out of the base again. But those Valks in the core have already done their job. They've taken out both Infernos, and now it's just a case of working their way around the base. His queen and king are still on full health pretty much. His king's taking a bit of damage, but that's kind of what he's there for, just to run out the front. And we'll pretty much, you can already see the base is trashed. He's got half a dozen Valks left there. It's going to be more than enough to take down those 2 remaining defences, and there you go. And then it's just a case of running around the edge. He's still got both his hero's abilities up his sleeve, so absolutely crushed the base. Lovely attack, B-Man. Pleasure to watch. And boom. Very, very nice indeed. Okay, up next we've got Uncle, yours truly, coming in on another one of these multi-ring bases. And same principles apply, so one golem on each corner just to help make the funnel, take out all the corner buildings, and then the idea was to come in through the core here, a couple of wall breakers, a couple of test Valks just to check that they weren't going to run around the edge, and then drop the rest of the Valkyries. We've got rages through the core, a jump spell on the outside just to get slightly misplaced that rage spell. It's a bit of a shame, but stuff happens. Both heroes running around one side. We've got a golem. There's 3 Valks, and I did bring a healer, and the idea with the healer was just to try and help keep some Valkyries alive at the end of the raid after the air defenses have gone down. So there's a bit of timing needed, a bit of patience needed to make sure the last air defense went down, and it kind of did the job. It did keep them alive, but there was plenty of health left on the Queen to get the job done, so not too shabby. And coming up next, we've got Prodigy Rocks coming in. I think this is the attack. This is the attack that I was thinking. This is an absolute study in patience. I love this attack. Just watch how patient Prodigy is here. Again, the goal is to build a funnel for the Valkyries to get into the core. And I do see quite a few raids where people rush to get their Valkyries down once they've got the few outer defenses taken care of, but that isn't what's needed here. Prodigy needs to get basically those 2 air defenses in the corner and the buildings next to them down, and he's being patient. He's waiting. The kill squad hasn't done the job that he needs it to do, so it's not safe to drop his Valks, otherwise they'll just run around the outside. So a great show of patience. And so at that point when the air defense have gone down in the building next to him, he knows it's safe to drop his Valkyries. He knows there's only one place they're going to go. The moment that jump spell is down, it's straight into the core. There's a raid spell for them to do, cop a giant bomb on the way in, but that's not too bad for Valks. They can take one of those and keep running. Couple of raid spells just to get them through, and just next single inferno is always a bad choice with Valkyries anyway. However, this is quite interesting to watch. Look at how much damage these 2 giant bombs do to his Valks. Boom and boom. So this that puts them on quite low health, and they do actually get picked off a little bit by the remaining defenses, but they still get a bit of damage done first, but perhaps not quite as far through the base as he would have liked. So there's a fair bit of work left to do here. So that was quite nice giant bomb placement on the outside there. However, the tough bit has been done. The damaging section, the infernos, there's a few defenses left, but he's got both of his heroes' abilities. He's just popped his kings. The remaining defenses are not particularly high level. And he's still got his Queen's ability, so he's got plenty in the bag to take out what's left. She is going to come under a bit of fire here, so he pops her ability, takes out the remaining arch tower, and then there's just a little bit of cleanup. Lovely attacking, really nice. Enjoyed watching the patience on the funnel building as well. That was superb. Okay, up next we've got Jennie coming in on this Town Hall 9. No prizes for guessing where the Teslas are by the looks of things. So she's bringing a couple of golems with some wall breakers to open up the outside, some wizards to build a nice wide funnel. Drops the Valks down. They all run exactly where she was wanting them to go. Nice jump spell placement, and we've got a Lava Hound in the CC, which isn't going to cause the Valkyries any trouble at all. Nice heal spell to keep the Valks up and running whilst they're still all clumped together, and you get good value. They do tend to spread out a little bit in bases. Rage in the core, just because she wants that expo to go down. A couple of hogs at the bottom just help take out those couple of archer towers that are otherwise distracted on a golem, so that's nice use of the hogs there. They do cop a giant bomb, which is a bit unfortunate, and one of the archer towers does redirect, so a bit unlucky there. However, you can already see that pretty much there's only a handful of defences left. The Archer Queen is in a spot of bother there with all those Lava Hound pups with the Lava Hound just popping, so she does have to use the ability. Here. There's quite a bit of building. There's quite a few buildings left on the cleanup, so she's unlucky on the giant bomb on the Queen as well. But she's got 2 golems still up, and they're going to provide absolutely plenty of tanking for the few remaining defenses that are left. Meanwhile, she's got 4 wizards around the outside, which is going to be plenty to help with the cleanup, and all the barbarians, kings, and his horde of barbs gets the job done very nicely indeed. Nice attack, Jennie. Enjoyed that one. Alrighty, let's move along. Mighty Banger. Coming in on day number 12. It's got a couple of golems down. He's got a wide line of wizards, so there's no doubt going to get the funnel built. I imagine his Valks are going to run around for the Queen, but rather than that happening, his wizards take the Queen out in time. There's a jump spell, gets his Valks straight into the core. Heal spell. A few of his Valks run around the outside, and I may have missed the heal spell, but it's still got a few that are in the core, and they do get the benefit of the heal spell. His Queen's in the core. There's a couple of more Valks coming back to take out the enemy king. So the king is down. He's got wizards running around the top and the bottom. He's got his king. His Queen's in the core, wrecking the base. And just now the golem that was in the core has just gone down, but his Queen's got her ability left, so she pops that, takes out the Expo, which was targeting her. Meanwhile, the second golem has run up and distracted all the other defenses, and the Queen is nicely positioned near the golem, so there's pretty much no defenses left. So that was really, really, really clean, just straight through the core. Nice use of golems to tank for the defenses, and the Valks to do the bulk of the heavy lifting. Very nice indeed. The force was not with Obi-Wan. Okay, now we've got Faye coming in on Justina with a couple of golems coming down and a few wizards to help build a funnel. Interesting CC troops. We've got a witch, a few wizards, and a loon, and that can be quite a dangerous little mix there. Drops a poison spell down. If it dropped, I'd probably be tempted to drop that maybe slightly further into the base, but no matter, because the Valks are going to run in and take care of what was left. Anyway, so he gets a couple of Valks run on the outside. That's not too much of a problem, because pretty much all the rest of the Valks went straight into the core, which is where he was wanting them to. Nice thinking there, given that there was a couple of Valks on the outside, to drop the Hogs down to help take out those few point defenses and Teslas. He's got heal spells for his Hogs, he's got heal spells for his Valks. And now both forces join up together, and that's just such a potent combination, because the Valks have got so much health and the Hogs just directly target all the point defense, so it's a lovely way of taking out all the dangerous parts of a base. The Valkyries do run around the outside, which probably wasn't quite what you wanted, I suspect, but then they do have a tendency to do that from time to time, and then randomly will break their way back into the base. But they're pretty safe running around the outside there, because he's got a golem that is working its magic in distracting the Expo. Meanwhile, a few of the Valkyries have broken back into the base and have taken out the few remaining point defenses. That golem is still doing great work in distracting, and he's got absolutely plenty of Valkyries left to do what's needed. And the next thing you know, it's got the 3. So lovely attack. Faye. Up next. Faye again. 6-star war. Coming in with a couple of golems and a few wizards. So it's pretty tried and tested approach. A few wall breakers running around the outside just to open up that. It gets a nice sizable chunk of that outer wall broken. So nice wide funnel for his Valks. No question of where they're going. One of his golems has got stuck on a wall, but that's going to provide tanking for... He's got a wizard up there as well, so that'll take out a few defenses for him. Meanwhile, the rest of the main force has gone into the core. There's a couple of heal spells down, which is always advisable, particularly when there's a dragon or balloons in the CC, whilst the poison works its magic. He's got hogs on the outside just to complement his main force, which is nice. A heal spell, which is beautifully placed and catches both his Valks and his hogs, so it's really nice placement and timing. Second heal spell, interesting, but actually a really nice choice to choose to heal the hogs over the Valks, because the Valks are just running around the outside and it's the hogs that are doing the heavy lifting. It does get a spring trap, which is a bit unlucky, but he's got his queen coming in from behind to take out those defences. There's a golem coming in range now for some of the other defences, and pretty much we can just see there's Valks on the outside, Valks on the inside. Both his heroes have their abilities still up. There's just too much left for what's remaining in the base, and once they've broken through that wall, that compartment goes down pretty quickly, and the next thing you know, there's just a couple of arch towers left. So we'll speed this one up a little bit as they make their final way through the base. He's still got a golem up, he's got his queen's ability, which he hasn't used yet. Just loads and loads and loads left in the bag, so absolutely crushed it. Love the attack, Faye. Really nice. Alrighty, and Thor coming in. We used to see this base quite a lot. We haven't seen much of it recently, so it was interesting to see someone try it for in the current version of the game where Valks are king. So Thor goes, well, okay, let's crack open the base. He drops a giant down in a hole that they've left in the base, which I suspect was accidental, but it does let him get the CC lure, which is quite nice. A couple of golems and a few wizards here just to do a couple of things. There's all the trash buildings to clean out, but also there's the CC troops to deal with, so he drops his archqueen to help out with that, and the king, and the enemy barbarian king's gone down. A few of these outer defences have been taken out, and at some point the archqueen is going to get locked onto that dragon, and here she goes. Does lose that wizard, which is a bit unlucky, but showing great patience here, and he hasn't dropped any of his Valks yet. I think that's because he wants to take out the archer queen before the Valkyries go down. That's not a bad thing. The Valks do like taking out. Drops a few test Valkyries just to make sure they're not going to run too far. And as you can see, they do spread out a little bit. That's probably not too bad for him. He drops a jump spell. There's only 4 Valks in the core, and a few more from the CC troops now. So he's got maybe 7 Valkyries in the core, with the rest running on the outside. But he's got a heal spell for them to keep them healthy in the core there, whilst they work their way through the base. A second heal spell just to make sure they're going to be completely safe. He does need those expos and testers, that's what they're called, to go down. And he's got just enough to get that job done fairly comfortably. Meanwhile, the rest of his troops are working their way around the outside of the base. They're being... I can't talk this morning. We've got wizard towers, that's what they're called, the big pink things. Being distracted by a couple of Valkyries, and it's quite interesting with wizard towers, because there was just one Valkyrie working its way through a wall. A wizard tower is not going to do that much damage to one Valkyrie, but you get a bunch of Valkyries together, and wizard towers can start to get dangerous just because of the splash damage and Valkyrie's tendency to clump up. But there's 4 or 5 Valkyries left. He's got a wizard and a bunch of archers left. There's only one defense left, and that's a wizard tower, and the archers just managed to take it down, and boom, lovely attack, Thor. Very nicely planned and very nicely executed. Alrighty, up next we've got Jib coming in for, I think it's the second attack of the war against their number 16. So he's going to come in from the top here. He's got earthquake spells just to open up the base. Gets a hog just to get the CC lure, and there's it's a different CC. It's 5 or 6 loons, which is kind of interesting. So we might just, he's dropped archer down at the top, so we might just fast forward while he deals with the CC. I think about loons, that they're pretty easy to deal with, so he's dealt with that without any trouble at all. Drops his golem down. He's got King and Queen going in. His Valks quite a few of his Valks have run around the outside. That's possibly placement of the Valkyries, and possibly the funnel wasn't wide enough, but no matter, they've chosen to break in the base and just come in via a different direction. That's helped him out, really. There's disco lighting in the center there with rages and heals galore. He's got his King doing funky beats with his ability going off there, and a nice heal spell on the back end just to keep everybody up. And you can already see like half the base is completely wrecked, and I don't think he's lost any of his Valkyries yet. Maybe one or two went down to spring traps, but he's got his Queen's ability. He's got a ton of Valkyries on the outside. Be nice if they broke their way back into the base, and there's pretty much just a bit of cleanup left to do at this point. He's still got a golem distracting most of those defenses. That's quite nice, and all these the remaining point defenses are pretty much touching each other anyway, which means the Valks get double value. And his Queen just manages to take out that last cannon, which is the one thing that would have possibly caused him a bit of grief, but he's got plenty of Valkyries. He must have had 8 or 10 Valkyries left at the end of that raid, so really, really nice. Completely overpowered that one. Okay, and back-to-back raids from Jib. A very similar base, but slightly different orientation. Very low-level walls from this clan. That's not a good thing if you're facing Valkyries, because they can tear through walls pretty easily. And Jib just comes in. He's dropped a couple of Valks just to help with the funnel there, and to make sure he's got all the CC lure. So gets Dragon and a Wizard, just brings him down to the corner here. There was a Troll Tesla in that corner, which we probably wasn't expecting, but no matter, it's taken care of now. Under Poison and a couple of Wizards, and CC troops are taken care of. Okay, so he's now going to come in from the top. He's got a bunch of Wall Breakers, which has opened up the base. It's coming in where the King and Queen are, which is always quite a handy thing to do. He's dropped his Valks in without much of a funnel, but it's worked out okay because the Queen actually drew them into the base. So he's got a jump spell and a heal spell down for them. He's got Valks running on the left, Valks running on the right. He's got his King and Queen running behind them, and because of the layout of this base, where actually most of the point defense is on the outside, he probably didn't want all of his Valks running through the core anyway, because most of the defenses are spread on the outside. So the way it's worked out for him is actually quite nice, with Valkyries around the edge, King Queen around another edge, and a few Wizards up behind, and enough Valks in the core with the aid of a Golem just to take out what was in the core, which wasn't particularly much. There's Troll Teslas in all the corners, which is not going to cause him too much trouble, although the two Wizards didn't quite take down the one on the right hand side, but he's going to have plenty of troops left to take care of that. And the next thing you know, there is literally just the Troll Teslas left, and I don't think the troops that he's got left are going to have too much trouble taking that out, and it gets the job done. Very nice tag Jib. Up next, we've got Powered by Geek. When I can press the replay button, we'll hit the fast forward button. This was a bit of a mistake in that it was an army that was cooked for a Town Hall 9 attack, and then discovered that I was actually hitting a Town Hall 8. So that was a bit whoops. So again, just bring the dragon down. A couple of troops just to distract it. Didn't really mind too much about whether my Queen went down there, because there's just, with 5 Lava Hounds and a bunch of loons, it's ridiculous really for a Town Hall 8, but that's what was cooked, so that's what we went with. A bunch of rage spells, just working their way through the base is way too much for the air defenses that a Town Hall 8 base can handle, and the next thing you know, there's 17 billion balloons all bunched up, which is not particularly helpful for cleanup, but there you go. It doesn't cause too much trouble though. Let's skip through the rest of that, and the next thing you know, there's probably something up at the top there. Yeah, not quite sure why people still persist in putting buildings in corners. I guess now and again it might save a star. Coming up next, we've got Eva with a classic dragon attack, which is always nice to see. But we will they do tend to take a little bit of time, so we'll fast forward that. So there's double zap quake on 2 of the air defences. Nice use of the dragons to take out those corner buildings. Nothing worse than having a dragon attack where you run out of time because they've had to run back across the entire map. But she's dropped that down nicely to take care of the outer build huts. Lovely use of the dragons on the funnel, which has left loads of her dragons funneled into the core to take out the CC dragon as well. It's got back end loons, actually front end loons coming through just to help take out some of the defences, and completely overpowered the base. It's she hasn't lost many if any of her dragons, and the base is pretty much toast. So nothing quite like a bit of Town Hall 9 bullying a Town Hall 8, and Eva has done it in style. So we'll just watch as the Queen sprints out way in front of everything else and pops the one remaining builder's hut. Nice attack. Very nice. Okay, and then we've got Zimmer. So now we've got some Town Hall 8 on Town Hall 8 action. Coming in with a single zap quake, because there's only 3 main spell slots, and rage. So again, it's all about funneling the dragons. So he's being nice and patient here on his drag, just making sure that the corner buildings are taken care of. There is that builder's hut in the corner, which I'm hoping he's going to spot and drop a dragon down for it, but he's doing a nice job of making sure the bulk of his dragon army is coming in through, going to go straight into the core here. Not a badly designed base, in that there's storages shielding the air defences, but with the rage spell, which is perfectly placed, is taken out the storage, one of the air defences, and the CC dragon all under rage. So that's set him up very nicely. He gets lucky there with one of his loons scoring one of the air mines. That's going to help keep his dragons up, and the next thing you know, it's just kind of walk in the park. He dropped his king down on that builder's hut there, so that was quite nice. Meanwhile, these dragons are just going to work their way through the rest of the base, and at the moment the archer tower goes down, there's nothing left that stops this being anything other than what it was, which was absolutely crushed the base with a 3-star. Very, very nice, Zimmer. Very nice. Now we've got Geek coming in on Town Hall 8. Again, another Town Hall 9 bullying Town Hall 8, so double zap quake. We'll fast forward through that. And coming in with 8 dragons and 12 loons, and I think Geek likes to spread the loons out around the outside to take out the archer towers. That just helps keep the dragon up, or the dragons alive. He's still going with the lava hound in the CC, which is probably could get away with a dragon and loons there, but for some reason he enjoys the lava hound. But forces just racing across the base. He's dropped loons at all different angles. There's reasonable number of buildings to be cleaned up, but there's no defences left, so it's just racing across the base, and boom. Just, you bully Geek, you absolute bully. Alright, we've got MinorMajor coming in, and if you ever want to see a case of bullying, this is probably it. So we've got a Town Hall 9 Valk attack on a Town Hall 8 base. He does get a dragon and loon in the CC, so we'll just fast forward while he deals with those. That's pretty standard Town Hall material for Town Hall 8s. So he's got a poison down, he's got a few barbs just to distract all the troops and keep them in the poison, and that's quite nice. Quite like that approach, because the next thing you know, it's just a bit of a time sink really. There isn't any danger to your troops as such, but he's got a golem, plenty of wizards to form a nice wide funnel. He's got a wall breaker, brings in a test wall breaker there, and then drops down 2 more wall breakers. He throws a bunch of Valks in the jump spell just to keep them pushing through the base. He's got a heal spell. No need for a rage spell at Town Hall 8 and probably Town Hall 9 either. Second heal spell for his Valks just to keep them all at full health. They are doing a lovely job, just completely wrecking this base, and the next thing you know, there's nothing left. His king's still up, his queen is still running around, and there's only 1 defense left, and it's being distracted by a golem. So there's only one way this raid is going to end, and it's with 3 stars. Very, very nice. Didn't even use all of his troops. Plenty of wizards left in the bag. Okay, up next we've got Zimmer again, coming in with Dragon Attack, and this is a fairly early Town Hall 8, or at least looking at the walls it is anyway, and a few of those defences look like they're still Town Hall 7 too. So he's got Zapquake on the far air defence, which leaves him with 2 air defences in a line across the base, and that's the same line that he's going to bring his own dragons in. That's nice. He's got built the funnel nicely. There's some loons there. He's got to drop the haste spell beautifully. Just powers those dragons into the air defences and takes them both down. And the next thing you know, the base is toast. Even though there's still half of it left, you just know what's going to happen next. So that was beautifully executed, Zimmer. Really, really nice. Kind of textbook stuff. We'll just fast forward a little bit whilst the dragons do what dragons do best, which is troll their way across the base, taking out anything in their path. And we've got Eva coming in on a Town Hall 7. So now we've got Town Hall 9 bullying a Town Hall 7. For some reason, Town Hall 7's had a bit of difficulty with this base, but no matter. So we've got a double Zapquake. We'll fast forward this one. Again, nice use of the dragons in the corners, just to take out those corner builder huts. Meanwhile, I drop just 1 or 2 dragons, and again, it's about patience, just letting those 2 dragons that are there to build the funnel by taking out the corner buildings, just letting them do their job before you drop your main force. Just really nicely executed, and the next thing you know, there's only a Town Hall 7, so these Town Hall 9 army is not going to have any trouble at all with it. Just completely crushed it. I don't think she lost a dragon in that attack. Lovely, lovely attack, Eva. And last but not least, we've got Thor. We had to dip down onto the lowest base with one of our Town Hall 9s, but you get that sometimes, and there's a big fat hole in the base, so Thor says, thank you very much, I'll have that. It's a dragon, as you probably expect, so he just brings it down to the corner with an archer. There's a bunch of archers and a few barbarians just to keep the dragon entertained while the archers take it out. He's going to earthquake the base open. Doesn't quite. That's just a little bit too big for earthquakes to open up, but no matter really, and the size of his army compared to what he's facing is not going to cause him any troubles at all. Just throws the Valks in, just let them get into the core and do what they do best. He's got a heal spell for them whilst they're running over one of the giant bombs. Queen's gone into the core. He's got 2 golems, which is a shame because there's no defences left for them to tank. Just absolutely crushed it. As I should expect, we'll fast forward as everybody does a little bit of exercise across the map, and boom. So look, great war, everybody. Loads of good attacks. Let's check out the war log here. We've got a Major just missing out on a 6-star war, and same with B-Man. So Town Hall 10 has just absolutely rocked it this war, which is superb. And congrats to Faye and Thor on their 6-star wars. Same with Jib and Geek, Eva, Zimmer. So loads and loads of 6-star wars. Well done, everybody. Let's stay tuned for the next one, which is shaping up to be a fun war too. So like, comment, subscribe. Hit the hope you're enjoying your week.